It's let. Really? And are you wandering homeless in long-haired Chelsea? How strange are the ways of fate. No, it's let unfurnished. We've moved. Why, I thought of you both as anchored there for ever. Evie never told me. I dare say when you met Evie the thing wasn't settled. We only moved a week ago. Paul has rather a feeling for the old place, and we held on for him to have his holiday there, but really it is impossibly small. Endless drawbacks. I forget whether you've been up to it. As far as the house, never. Well, Howard's End is one of those converted farms. They don't really do. Spend what you will on them. We messed away with the garage among all the wych elm roots, and last year we enclosed a bit of the meadow and attempted a rockery. Evie got rather keen on alpine plants, but it didn't do. No, it didn't do. You remember, or your sister will remember, the farm with those abominable guinea fowls, and the hedge that old woman would never cut properly, so that it went all thin at the bottom. And inside the house, the beams, and the staircase through a door, picturesque enough, but not a place to live in. He glanced over the parapet cheerfully. Full tide. And the position wasn't right either. The neighbourhood's getting suburban. Either be in London or out of it, I say, so we've taken a house in Ducie Street, close to Sloane Street, and a place right down in Shropshire, Onnington Grange. Ever heard of Onnington? Do come and see us, right away from everywhere up towards Wales. What a change, said Margaret, but the change was in her own voice, which had become most sad. I can't imagine Howard's End or Hilton without you. Hilton isn't without us, he replied. Charles is there still. Still? Said Margaret, who'd not kept up with the Charleses. But I thought he was still at Epsom. They were furnishing that Christmas one Christmas. How everything alters. I used to admire Mrs. Charles from our windows very often. Wasn't it Epsom? Yes, but they moved 18 months ago. Charles, the good chap, his voice dropped, thought I should be lonely. I didn't want him to move, but he would, and took a house at the other end of Hilton, down by the 6 Hills. He had a motor, too. They're all there, a very jolly party, he and she and the 2 grandchildren. I manage other people's affairs so much better than they manage them themselves, said Margaret, as they shook hands. When you moved out of Howard's End, I should have moved Mr. Charles Wilcox into it. I should have kept so remarkable a place in the family. So it is, he replied. I haven't sold it, and don't mean to. No, but none of you were there. Oh, we've got a splendid tenant, Hammer Bryce, an invalid. If Charles ever wanted it, but he won't. Dolly is so dependent on modern conveniences. No, we've all decided against Howard's End. We like it in a way, but now we feel that it is neither one thing nor the other. One must have one thing or the other. And some people are lucky enough to have both. You're doing yourself proud, Mr. Wilcox. My congratulations. And mine, said Helen. Do remind Evie to come see us, to Wickham Place. We shan't be there very long, either. You too on the move? Next September, Margaret sighed. Everyone moving. Goodbye. The tide had begun to ebb. Margaret leaned over the parapet and watched it sadly. Mr. Wilcox had forgotten his wife, Helen her lover. She herself was probably forgetting. Everyone moving. Is it worth while attempting the past when there is this continual flux even in the hearts of men? Helen roused her by saying, What a prosperous vulgarian Mr. Wilcox has grown. I have very little use for him in these days. However, he did tell us about the Porphyrion. Let us write to Mr. Bast as soon as ever we get home, and tell him to clear out of it at once. Do. Yes, that's worth doing. Let us. Let's ask him to tea. End of chapter 15.